Welcome everybody to Los Hijos del Roll for this one shot of Mysthea. Legends from the Borderlands, and sorry, I'm really bad with names. Which is a game that is currently on Kickstarter. It's been designed by Jay Iles, who we have here today. And we decided that this time, instead of doing the usual story always interview, since Jay Iles has been already 2 times on a story always, and it's like I was just probably getting bored just talking with me. We decided to do something a little bit more fun and play a game of Mysthea together. And to do that, we got a couple of really cool people to join us. So before I proceed to introduce them, let me try to sell you on all my bullshit as well. Just quickly remind you that if you like our content and want to support our channel, you can of course give us a like on YouTube if you see this eventually there. Subscribe to our Twitch channel to get all the notifications and all that. You can follow us on Twitter, on Facebook, and MeWe. And if you really, really want to help us, you can become a official monthly subscriber in Twitch to pay a little bit every month to help us. And if you happen to have Amazon Prime and you are not using it already, there's this super cool option that allows you to use it to pay a subscription for a month for free on a channel. So you could use that. And also, if you just want to give us a small donation one time because you feel better with those kind of one-time relationships kind of things, you can donate some money on our Ko-fi page, which you will be able to find on the description of the video or underneath the stream, wherever you're seeing this. With all of that out of the way, I'm going to let all our guests introduce themselves. So why don't we start with Jay?
Hello. So, yes, I am Jay Iles, head of UFO Press. You may know me from such RPGs as, I'm just going to glance through Angel's Camera, Legacy Life Among the Ruins, Harder They Fall, Ultra-Normal Encounters, that's that one, yep, good. All the various different worlds of Legacy, various sort of indie storytelling RPGs with a focus on really cool narrative situations, interesting world building, and collaborative storytelling. So that's me, and today we'll be playing our current Kickstarting game, Mysthea, Legends from the Borderlands, which is a game about post-war rebuilding and political rivalries in a weird fantasy world. I'm very excited to play it. We've done a lot of interesting things building on Legacy with this one, and I think it's a very cool game. But obviously I can't play alone, and as much as I'd love to, it's a game to play with just me and Angel, so I brought some friends along. So first up, we have Becky Annison.
Hello, I'm Becky. You may remember me from actually an interview I did with Angel a couple of weeks ago when I was promoting my own Kickstarter, Bite Me. But I'm also one half of Black Armada Publishing, or Black Armada Games, and we've done Flotsam and Lovecraft-esque and a few other things. So that's me.
Cool. And there's also Dave.
Hi, I'm David. I'm not an industry professional, sadly, but I'm looking forward to playing tonight. Mysthea. It looks a lot of fun. I've actually just finished this afternoon running a quick series of Becky's Bite Me. Yes. I'll stick the link to the videos I've taken of that in the chat, but it was really good fun, so heartily recommend that as well, and we'll see how good Mysthea is in a minute.
Nice vote of confidence there. All right.
So I meant it in an encouraging way, not a...
Right. Okay, I'll choose to be encouraged. So, we might as well dive in then. So, Mysthea. is set in a floating continent over a mist-shrouded planet. Nobody knows how long it's been this way, but scholars say it's something to do with the giant, miles-high crystal shard embedded into the planet's crust that still sends off waves of geomantic radiation every now and then, mutating wildlife and scattering strange crystals everywhere and all that sort of thing. The civilization of Mysthea is built on this crystal magic. Everyone who lives on the continent can control the shards with their minds, telekinetically, and this has been used to build cities, change the environment, and wage war, which is important for where we start, because you fine people are all members of the hierarchy of one of the great powers of this continent, the Kingdom of Ilvash. You each represent one of the sub-factions within the 5 great guilds that control that really rule the kingdom when the king himself is off conquering, which he's busy with at the moment, because the continent is in the middle of a great, all-consuming war with another empire. Now, the kingdom has recently liberated a city, Montara the Serene, known as the gateway to the empire. And you have been sent to get to this city, firmly establish the kingdom's hold on it, and make it a useful resupply point, beachhead, tool in the workings of the kingdom. Isn't that nice? Aren't you lovely people? So, each of you is controlling a house within Ilvash's civilization, and a hero from within that house. Why don't you describe who you are, both in the large scale and the small scale? Start with Angel.
Absolutely. So today I'll be taking control of the let me see, because it's quite a mouthful. I've been sent by Kachun, the Guild of Soldiers, and I take command of the glorious Third Legion.
Yes.
One
of the...
Yeah, go on.
So the Third Legion are one of the legions tasked with protecting the security of the capital city of Ilvash. And so you haven't actually seen any fighting in this war, for all your sort of pomp and glory. Now you've been sent to, not the front lines, but close to them. And who's your face character within that house?
Charinth, a firebrand. Charinth is she has a feminine presentation. She has passionate eyes, compact body. She wears a red cloak with silver armor underneath, and she has her left eye is missing, and instead she has like a ruby.
Excellent.
So that's
Cool.
me.
Excellent. So Becky, who are you taking control of?
So I'm taking control of the Blades of Vararin, who are a mercenary group within the Order of Vararin, which is sort of a loose confederacy of traders. And the face character that I will be playing is Karenan the Martyr. Karenan is a quartermaster to the mercenary group that she represents. She is a woman. She's quite wiry looking, probably quite small for her. Smaller than average, I would say. She has an ordinary face and very steady eyes. She looks like somebody who you would trust to supply your lines and make sure that your money and your interests are safe. She looks honest. And she wears very, very muted colours. So things that are going to fade into the background a lot, which I'm guessing on Mysthea is a lot of grey.
Yeah.
So a lot of grey-toned clothes and a grey hooded top and that sort of thing.
Excellent. And Dave?
Yeah, certainly. So today I will be taking control of the line of Bahalis, They are a noble family who are part of the House Valaris, the House of the Nobility, the Guild of the Nobility. Sorry, I should say. They have been sent to lead this expedition to the city and ensure its governance. My character, my representative of the house, is Actual Bahal. She is she has, again, presents feminine. She has a handsome face, judging eyes, but not judging harshly, and a very muscular body. She is tall, powerfully built. She carries a large axe. She's dressed in a suit of armor that is encrusted with jewels. She has sort of long green hair pulled back into long sort of waist-length dreadlocks, because I really love the picture on that character sheet, so I'm stealing liberally from it.
Excellent. All right. And just before we start, I'll point out that what we are playing here is a free quick start that is the basic rules and an adventure that you can download and play. It's on DriveThruRPG or linked on the Kickstarter page.
Link in the description.
So, the line of Bahalis was granted the mountains and hills surrounding this city as part of their sort of noble lands. And everyone knew that this is something of a double-edged sword, you know? In order to claim it, you would also need to protect the kingdom against incursions from there. So you knew, Dave, that time was of the essence. So that's why you hired the Blades of Vararin, this mercenary company. But Becky, this isn't the first time that you've worked with the line of Bahalis. What sort of, how have they stepped over the line before? How have you seen that their sort of veneer of nobility is not all it's cracked up to be sometimes?
I think that sometimes we have been asked to do things which are less conscionable than they ought to be in war, and we were paid extra to do them.
Interesting.
So they weren't part of the original deal, and then perhaps when we were in a tight situation, we were told to do something beyond the pale, and it was negotiated at the higher levels that would be done, but for an extra price.
Yeah. Okay. Just to... I remember I should have said this earlier, but this is a game that in part deals with, you know, the issues of war and horrors thereof, as well as like monsters and weird magic going out of the way. So obviously we're using the X card for this. If you ever come across any content that you'd rather we put down and move away from, just make an X in front of the screen, like me, and we will put that down, move back a bit, and go forward in a different direction. So, the Glorious Legions, Angel, were appointed to this venture by the king as a bit of a counter to keep the nobles in check, or to keep the throne's eyes on them.
Well, both, obviously. The king has absolute power, but absolute power comes with absolute worry, because all the houses are always fighting for power. So they trust no one, and the Legion, they know the Legion is always loyal to them.
So, what's concerned you with the Bahalis' defenses? Like, what's the chink in their armor that you've seen?
In the sense of a weak point?
Yeah, like, as you've been traveling with them towards the Borderlands.
I think they lack true discipline. They have this kind of military experience, but they lack the real motivation, the real passion that an actual soldier has. These mercenary types don't will run away at the moment they see any true danger. So I don't trust them much.
So you have fought battles alongside them then, as you travelled here. What sort of things did you fight?
I think so far we have only encountered wild creatures and abominations. Not a human, or well, are we humans? Are we?
Yeah, humans.
Not any kind of sentient threat.
Yeah. Okay. There's a particular creature that exists only to sort of lay eggs, and then when the eggs hatch, go on out as ravening swarms, devouring everything they come across. So I can imagine a stampede of those came past you, and you had to group up together to fight against them. So it's been a hard trek from Ilvash all the way to the Borderlands, but as you got here, you were expecting more of a struggle. The Montarans of old put a number of fortresses in the mountain range around their city, and when the Empire conquered the city, those were filled with Empire troops. But most were empty, like pretty much all of them that you came across. Some obviously ruined by your own kingdom's forces. Some of them, the defenders were found torn apart and exsanguinated in rather strange and twisted fashions. So, Dave, as you were travelling, the Blades are constant sort of negotiators and wheelers and dealers, and one of their deals went wrong. Who did you save them from?
I think that there was a kind of local dignitary of some description at one of the towns we passed on our way out here, and they attempted to do a deal with him to sell off some of their excess gear. But I think they may be oversold its quality, and I had to sort of step in to intervene on their behalf and calm things down so that cooler heads could prevail.
Okay, cool. Also, one of your house has recently come, under the weather in a particularly nasty way that makes you suspect poison. Who are they?
It's actually my elder brother, who should have been leading this expedition.
Okay.
But I have been sent in his place.
Okay. Good to know, because he is currently laid up on the bed of a cart, crying tears of blood that turn into rubies as they leave his tear ducts. Well, before they leave his tear ducts, really. It's not a nice situation.
Yeah, that doesn't sound great as things go.
So he was the one who was actually appointed to lead, whereas you're the sort of figurehead war hero sort of thing. Cool.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. So, might as well talk about you then, Akshul the Sentinel. We've got a description of you, of course, but you are currently... You've been set to... No, wait, there's no choices for you to make there. You'll each decide, actually, how you're bonded to each other. So each of you is going to pick a word for the character for the other two characters. That's nice and easy. We don't need to do left and right because there's only 3 of you. And we'll put those together to decide what form your covenant takes.
Okay.
Let me know when you've decided.
I have on my side.
I've got one for Angel, but I'm trying to think of one for David.
Yeah, I think I've decided mine as well.
Okay.
You guys go, and I think
Okay.
my last one.
All right. So, David and Angel, what are your 2 words?
For me, it will be neighborhood.
And for me, is protection.
Okay, neighborhood protection. What sort of relationship is that then between this firebrand and this veteran? Or sentinel, I should say.
Yeah. I think that maybe so you were saying the third Legion were based in the capital city.
Yes.
So I think my position before I was sent on this expedition was maybe I maybe did sort of like a road warden, night errant, sort of patrol in sort of the land around the capital city, and perhaps we kind of work together as part of that.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, I think I was put in charge of keeping an eye on you on an official way, and also make sure he doesn't cause trouble. She doesn't cause trouble. Sorry. But I think we maybe have grown to respect each other, and we kind of protect each other's backs.
Nice. All right. Becky, what have you got for Dave?
So for Dave, I've got childhood.
And Dave?
I have completely forgotten which one I picked. Sorry, I refer back to it. Mine was oath.
Okay.
Oh, well, sorry. There are options to pick on the things. I was just inventing them.
Oh no, it doesn't really matter. But so family is one of your ones, or cool. Becky?
Yeah, let's go with that then.
Okay, so family oath.
Oh, sounds like somebody's sworn to do something there, doesn't it?
It definitely does.
Yeah.
Well, I think it'd be funny, if you're interested, if my family was sworn to protect yours, but I am so not suited for that job.
Yeah,
okay.
that sounds good. That sounds good.
So both of you both Becky and Angel have some sort of responsibility to protect Actual. That's good.
Yeah, but I am dying under the burden of it. If it ever comes to it, then
all right,
my family's name will be mud.
All right, so
so where are the other ones on the?
They're in the getting started box.
In the face bit.
In the Covenant section.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. In that case, I will choose charity.
Okay.
That sounds exciting, doesn't it? I'm going to choose charity.
Okay, that's interesting. I've chosen prison.
Prison. Okay.
Okay. Charity prison. That's okay. Okay, so who got out of prison?
Okay.
You're a firebrand, aren't you?
Yeah.
Whereas I'm a bookkeeper, to be honest. Although, creative bookkeeper, possibly, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that you might be someone who's been to prison?
Yes, that would be fun.
Okay.
The Third Legion is this kind of like it has these big traditions and this like tyrannical ruler chosen by the elders and all that, and like that's all fine, but I have some issues. Sometimes, and sometimes those have made me end in prison.
Okay.
So I guess
Did you go into prison before or after you were working with Actual?
I think both.
Okay. So maybe I don't know.
Mhm.
Let me know if this is sort of putting my foot in too much, but like maybe before the expedition was due to depart, Becky, you knew you couldn't do this on your own, so you got your old friend out of prison to come along.
That
and help.
sounds good.
Yes,
I like the
that.
idea that I'm in serious trouble. I've got to protect this person on some terrible mission, and I'm never going to be able to do it. Please help me.
Yes, I like that.
Nice. All right. Okay. So there's also your houses, your organizations. Now, just sort of, you've know your traditions, etc. Look over your stat lines and see what you're good at in terms of, like, reach is diplomacy, grasp is strength, and sleight is subtlety. Also look at the surpluses you have and the needs. And I think the only decision you have to make at the moment is how much control does your ancestral guild have over you? This is in the traditions box. So either you're sort of basically independent of them, or they have influence over you. And that'll give you different abilities.
I think that our guild has influence over us.
Okay.
We are perhaps a house with a certain pedigree, but very little actual power. So we are beholden to them. Part of this expedition is probably so that we can maybe gain a little more independence, but it's also partly on their orders. So,
okay. On the other hand, that means that you're more plugged into the kingdom's rule of law and can make your enemies outlaws, etc.
And I think the Third Legion, our house has a lot of influence over us. The discipline is very strict. The line of command is clear and never broken.
Okay.
So I'm going to choose that we're independent because the concern are a loose group of traders, and we're a group of mercenaries within that, and I think they enjoy the benefits of plausible deniability and an arm's length relationship.
Okay. Excellent. So, after long weeks of traveling from the heart of the kingdom to its very border, you come to within a day or two of Montara. The road is snaking up into the quiet mountains, and you come across, the path opens up, and where before you'd merely seen a few shepherds escorting their livestock, or a battle-weary platoon on their way home, you see a huge amount more. There's a narrow strip of flatland surrounded by sheer cliffs on one side and mountain ranges on the other. And then there's a raging river past that. There's a bridge over the river, but both the river and the narrow bit of flatland are packed with hundreds of people. There is, on your side of this sort of narrow expanse, there's a inn and crossroads and sort of settlement there. There seems to be a hive of activity. Meanwhile, the river, which seems ancient and of impossibly strong construction, is packed full of what seem, you can even see from this distance, to be refugees, people fleeing the war. And their progress has been stopped at this point by a line of squat golems completely blocking the bridge and stopping them from progressing deeper into the kingdom of Ilvash. Your houses have been traveling for a good long time, and most of them are sort of looking for a chance to rest, especially now that you're somewhere where you might have supplies. And it naturally comes to pass that the three of you are sort of standing on your own, overlooking this expanse and working out what to do next. So,
I look at Corinon. Becky, the
Yes.
name Corinon. I look at Corinon and I say, how far until we reach the Borderlands?
3 days, 2 or 3 maybe. Why? What are you thinking?
The path has been far too quiet until now. Just a few creatures. I was expecting activity, enemies, something.
Maybe we should be grateful for the rest. You're always looking for trouble where there isn't any. I'm sure things will get bad soon enough.
I fear you are likely to be right, Karenin. We should take the opportunity to rest now while we have time to do so. When trouble does rear its head, we need to be prepared for it.
That I agree.
Is that going to be trouble? Is that going to be trouble down there on the bridge, do you think, Axel?
It may well be. I do not know. Well, I assume do I recognise these golems at all, or is it?
Yeah. Yeah, they're army manufacture.
They are like something like they are guards. They are not something like we normally suspect or.
So there's a lot of investment goes into each one of them, but they look like they're standing there as guards. They've been placed there for some reason. You can see that the bridge, packed though it is empty for like a good 20 meters or so ahead of these golems. Nobody wants to get close to them.
I suggest we we leave our people resting and go check these golems. Make sure they are working properly.
Is this bridge? Do we need to get over this bridge, Jay?
It's certainly the quickest route to Montara. Though, as you look around, Conan, you can see that the path. Well, there are a few paths leading off this flatland. Some others go up into the mountains in a way that would also probably take you towards Montara. Though, as you look at those passes, you can see movement down on them. Coming down, it looks like small groups of soldiers carrying wounded with them. Your soldiers, well, allied soldiers.
I say, and also something seems to have happened across the bridge. People are wounded. People are running away from something. Perhaps we should send a scout team.
Could do.
It might be for the best if we are going to run into problems. It's best to be forewarned.
Yeah. So you can send scouts out that way. Whose scouts?
Mine, I suppose, since I proposed it.
Okay.
I have something. Blah, blah, blah. I don't know if this applies, but I have a move called our Undying Loyalty. I have Covenant with a squad at rank 1.
Yep.
And their goal would be something, but I mean army probably. And I could lead them. Yeah.
Okay. So you want to send them out to act independently or go with them?
Do we split the party so early?
No, they're minions. It's not splitting the party if your minions go separately.
But if I go with them, then I do. I do want to go.
Okay.
I want to go to do the suicide mission. That's going to go bad. Yeah, so I think I'm going to lead them.
Okay. All right. So you're heading off with your people to the far side to try and cross the bridge and see what's on the other side?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I will say, so you act with advantage because you're acting with your group of squad. And so I think that sounds like a navigate, traveling through the wilds.
Mm-hmm.
So do you want to give me a prowess roll with advantage?
Sure thing. That's my +1. Okay. Let's see if roll20 works. No, I just wrote a thing.
No, it looks like it's doing a thing. Nope.
Uh,
Okay, no, it's not.
Oh, sorry. I copied your entire previous roll that says rolling, but it's yeah.
Yeah,
No.
you need to / roll. Yeah.
Yeah, my bad. +1. Yes. That's a 9.
Okay, that's a 9. All right. A hit, a purple hit. All right. So you get over the bridge. It's quite you have to circumvent some of the guards and such. If you look at the navigate move, you pick 2 of the things that happen on the way.
Mm-hmm. The navigate move. In what page is it?
So I sent you a rules reference PDF. That's the updated one. It's in the chat.
Oh,
the Roll20 chat.
Yeah.
And it's the first page of that.
Just a second. I hadn't seen that.
No worries.
Yes. Blah blah blah. Overcome, compromise. Blah blah blah. Navigate. So okay, 2 options. Lose something along the way. Blah, blah, blah. An obstacle on 3 blocks your way or threat blocks your. Oh, that's fine. That's fun. I think I'm going to. I choose an obstacle or threat blocks your way back. So
okay.
And the other one, lose something along the way.
Okay. Interesting. Okay, so I will say that you go off with your detachment of infantry, and you can just pass by the golems. You can just they step aside to let you through with a sort of clanking and shuffling. You look back, they're sort of rough-hewn faces glowering with crystalline eyes. And as soon as you have all passed them, they adopt a very aggressive posture towards you, whereas before they were compliant as you were passing through. When one of your sort of infantry turns and sort of makes a motion as if he's going to sort of go back across, they close ranks very quickly, and like crystal spines grow out of their hands, and they start advancing towards her, and you sort of pull them back and run. But and as soon as you've cleared that sort of 20-meter gap away from the golems sort of tromp back to their guard position. So it looks like there is sort of set up to allow one-way travel. A very sort of simple set of orders.
They are the golem version of those spikes that they put at the entrance of parking lots.
Yes, exactly. Yes, except a lot more actively spiky. Okay, so you lose something along the way, and I think what that will probably be. I don't have a huge amount of stuff with you to begin with.
I lose
some people.
There's an option that of losing people. I lose my I don't know, I lost the way back, I guess, or I lost.
Oh, I know what it is. Your cloak.
Not the cloak. Take my people, but not the cloak.
As you make your way through the crowds of refugees, and it's actually not just a crowd, but almost a sort of shanty setup, in that people have set up tents, people have set up makeshift dwellings. A lot of them have been here, it's clear, for a long time, weeks maybe, especially the ones closest to the golems. And as you're going through the packed crowd, people are crowding around, asking, can you let us through? Can you tell them to stay back? Can you just sort of hold them off while we get to safety? People here are just desperate to get somewhere where they can feel some sort of security and shelter. Mm-hmm. And as they're sort of whirling around you and sort of asking and demanding, you feel a tug around your shoulders and your cloak is pulled away, and you glance around to see who took it, and you just see this red shape fluttering through the crowd away.
And by the time I react, it's long gone.
Yeah. But you sort of push your way through the crowds to the other side of the bridge.
Actually, I do want to take the opportunity to get off from my horse.
If you have one, yeah, sure.
Sure. And talk with the people there. I try to find someone who looks like more of an elder, kind of someone who will be more not in charge, but more responsible and who and calm. So okay. I try to ask them what it is that has happened to you, or why are you running from away?
Okay, so this will probably be on the far side of the bridge, right? Mm-hmm. Where the press is much less and people have more room to sort of rest and get a good sort of space for themselves. And people have set up sort of bigger tents. And you can see a old man wearing a somewhat ragged robes, but still standing reasonably firm. And, you ask your questions, and they tell a story of, the war sweeping over their town, their settlement, and just razing it to the ground. And, they don't know if it was the Catraean Empire's forces or the Empire of Ilvash. I mean, there's so many different groups all fighting together on both sides that it's not really, people weren't proclaiming their allegiances, and they just want to get to safety, and they've been told that this is kingdom land now, so they would like some kingdom safety, please.
I take off my helmet and I plant my knee on the ground to try to talk with the man, kind of on his own level of eye to eye. I say, I know you probably don't trust the likes of me. I understand it. We haven't done much good for your people. But if you help me, if you tell me something else, I promise you, I'll help you back.
Okay.
And I'm trying to use my Wars of Revolution move.
Ooh, okay. Roll plus cunning, because you're seeking the counsel of the disenfranchised and oppressed.
Yes. So cunning. Let's see. I have.
That's a 0.
Yep. That's a 12. I'm so good with the disenfranchised.
Although you shouldn't be rolling it with advantage, should you?
That is a fair point.
But I mean, any combination of 2 dice from there will be a 10. So
yeah, that is true. Sorry about that.
That's all right. Okay. So you pick one of those things to learn, and you also get access to a safe house you can use in this area, which I guess is this guy's tent.
Nice. Okay, so I learned one. Secret witness of the authority, how to move through here quick and unseen, how the authorities maintain their control. A secret weakness of the authorities.
Okay. Okay. So we'll say that actually one of the things about the people who moved through this area, who destroyed their town, is there was somebody with them. Looked like a sort of, not armored, not a soldier,
Mhm.
but they held aloft a sort of, well, they had this thing with them that was like a lash with lots of ropes with crystal tips. And as they were going through the village, they struck people with it. And as they did, those people sort of twisted and turned into horrible obsidian spiked monsters that sort of just reinforced the invaders. But there was a point where, like, they dropped this lash as they were swinging it at somebody, and there was a moment where all the creatures just sort of stopped and turned to look at them before they picked it up, and then the carnage continued.
Okay, I get that. I thank the man.
Yeah. So back on the other side of the bridge, where things are peaceful, and I think some of your people are starting to look into that sort of big stables and tavern that's there.
Yep. I will have sort of given them leave to, set up camp for the night. What have you? Have some R&R. I'm intrigued as well by these still by these golems on the bridge. I presume that they are not sentient.
Well, they have. Who can say? That actual sentient thinking creatures are constructed creatures are very, very rare.
Yeah.
But but they're probably not sentient now. These will be sort of very simple automatons, like 3 or 4 rules,
Yeah, that's fair. And I presume that I wouldn't have authority to change their orders.
No, you need to be a sort of a group of skilled mystics working together to do something like that.
Sure thing.
But actually, as your people are sort of collecting supplies from the tavern, probably actually Krenan, you're most paying attention to that at the moment with your...
Absolutely, because I was hoping that I might be able to use move.
Oh, okay.
With my bringing goods to market move, I was hoping that I'd be able to get in there and...
Excellent. Go for it. What are you doing?
Make some money. Okay, so these guys are on the border, right?
Yes.
So the supply lines are probably not quite as comprehensive as they used to be, I'm guessing, and certainly more one way than they used to be.
Definitely.
And also, if I were this close to the border, even with those fancy golems there, I would be looking probably for more weaponry. And I'm pretty sure that my house has got quite a lot of that stuff.
You have?
Let me just check.
Plenty to spare.
Yep. So I think that I'm going to attempt to use my bring goods to market, which I appreciate isn't a stat that I'm very bad at. But,
Yes, currently because you
forward, right?
are not particularly anguished or fearful or whatever, your cunning is bad.
I will be after I've screwed this deal up.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll just try and negotiate some reduced rates for the company, because I'd imagine it costs quite a lot of people quite a lot of money to put a company up overnight.
Yeah.
So I'll try and negotiate some reduced rates by offering to barter with state-of-the-art weaponry.
Excellent.
Obviously, we'll show them how to use it.
Give me a cunning roll.
Oh dear.
This one ain't too bad.
I mean, one of the things I really like about Legacy is that it tells you the probabilities, but I don't want you to tell me the probabilities right now.
No, tell you what. Do you want your noble friend to help you out in this? Does your noble friend want to help you out in this?
It's the benefit of all if we can keep the costs down.
Certainly. I will. I will come along to, lend an air of class to proceedings.
Gravitas.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. All right. So,
I don't look very impressive.
do you want to roll a dice alongside Becky's, Dave?
Certainly. Bear with me.
So you roll 1, Becky rolls 2.
I'm hoping I'm going to get my... Oh, did that work?
That's
Yes.
a 7. And then Dave rolls 1. Okay, so that is a 6 plus 4 minus 1, so a 9.
Hey, that could have been worse, couldn't it?
Yeah.
Could have been a miss. Right, so on a 7 to 9, I get to pick one of the following. I hear an interesting rumour. I make friends with another merchant, giving my house easy access to another stock in trade whilst in this area, and the clients don't realise quite what they paid with. I think I'll probably go with an interesting rumour, because I think we're in a situation where information is going to be more important to us.
Okay. So what you find out as you're trading, you're handing over, what are your state-of-the-art weaponry?
State-of-the-art weaponry. What is the tech level exactly like? I know it's crystal-based, but is it mostly swords or...
Yeah, sword, spears, that sort of thing. I mean, it's sort of low medieval, except where, crystal magic makes things easier. Or even actually sort of late Bronze Age, I think, possibly.
Well, I suppose I was just thinking that if we're talking that level of tech, then one of the most effective weapons in the period is going to be bows.
Yes.
But they're not very useful if you don't have a lot of skill, but crystals could make up the difference in skill level.
Oh.
Crystals could make it easier for people to use those things and aim and that sort of thing. Does that sound reasonable?
Yeah, that's cool. I would say probably a sort of your peak of weapons technology could be a crystal. You can easily shave slivers off to use flint heads for arrows.
Ooh.
Which means that someone who's attuned to this master crystal can then guide the arrows as they fly.
Yes, definitely.
With their mind. Yeah, that sounds cool.
Self-guided arrows is what I'll call that for the marketing spiel.
All right. So you're selling these few bushels of arrows to the people here. And actually, you get to meet the people who are in charge of this inn, which are people who are clearly not ill-fashioned. They have sort of quite fancy-looking blue robes with these heavy stoles that are marked with symbols inlaid with metal.
Ooh.
And they introduce themselves. The person in charge, who is Hectrick, a sort of suave, quite young-looking man, introduced himself as an envoy of the Cabal of Coin, a Montaran faction that was pushed out here when the Empire took over. And he's sort of very much trying to sort of put on airs of I'm a cool person, I'm not bowed by you, Ilvashans, we're fancy too. But as part of that, he lets slip that the Cabal are desperate to get back to Montara, because there's a particular bank vault that they've heard about there that they know how to open now. Filled with riches that even the Empire couldn't plunder.
But I assume not a bank vault that they own the contents of currently.
Not currently, no, because they're here.
Cool. I shall relay that to Axel.
Okay. So, Axel, you've been at the bridge poking at the golems and also just sort of keeping an eye out of the situation. Is there anything you're looking to do here?
I think I'm going to return to the town, and I'm basically going to ask who is in charge here.
Okay. You'll end up in conversation with the person that Karenan has just done a deal with. Hectrick of the Cabal. Hello? You are, who are you then?
I am Actual of House Bahalis. We are traveling through to Montara. I understand. I've seen the golems on the bridge holding out the refugees. Might I ask who controls them?
Yes, well, when your armies came through, I made a deal with, I think, a vassal of your Guild of Arcanists to put some protection down. If they were going to say that this is Kingdom territory, I wanted to stop any nasty Empire sorts from coming down. So, yes, we bought some gate guards from them. This wasn't entirely the desired outcome, I've got to say. But
I take it. Are you able to alter their programming or give them commands, or are they stuck on their previous set of behaviours?
well, it's quite a simple pattern. I don't have the knowledge, but I gather that this is rather what they do now. Why? What's your intention here?
The refugees out there on the bridge, their position seems somewhat perilous, and it would be by far the kindest thing to allow them passage into the Empire that they might settle.
Well, if you want a flood of those sorts of people coming through here, our investment here is not going to be very useful. I mean, you have force of arms, yes? You are soldiers. I mean, I know you have weapons from this fine lady's armories.
Indeed, that is so.
All right. I would not be too upset if our investment was to, if our these golems were to experience a loss of function, shall we say. So long as you find people escort us back to Montara, if it is now Kingdom territory too.
That seems like a deal I can accept. I would rather not damage them if necessary, if it is not necessary. But if you have no way of turning them off, it would seem the most expedient method.
All right, then I shall watch the proceedings with interest.
Thank you.
Good.
I do hope you've got a plan, Axel. They look dangerous down there.
Indeed, my plan is to take some of our men and attempt to escort the refugees through, and should the golems meet us with force, return it to them in kind.
Surely you should meet them with force this side before you get through to the refugees. You don't want to risk civilians in the middle of a fight, do you?
Perhaps that might be a better way. I wondered if I might be able to circumvent their programming, but as you say, it would be a greater risk.
Well, that's something you could try. You'll have the ability to wield crystals.
What's it? Is that the
That's the wield move.
Wield? I could have a go at shutting them down at this end.
Mm-hmm.
Very well. We shall attempt that as our first course of action.
Jay, would it be easier to shut them down, or would it be easier to have... How many are there?
I will say half a dozen.
Would it be easier for them to turn on each other?
That would be easier, yeah.
Easy enough to get me an advantage.
Oh, that's not how the system works, Becky.
Shame.
Yeah. So, interestingly enough, as the Martyr playbook, your relic that you use Quorum Magic through is a covenant. You draw on your memories with people to control crystals, etc.
Nice.
Oh, well, I'm going to draw on my memories with Angel.
Okay.
Because she's on the other side.
Yeah.
She's the one who's not going to be able to get back to us.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use my memories to make sure she can come back home to us.
Okay.
Or to condemn me forever, whatever happens.
Let's just see how I roll, eh?
All right. So paint the scene. What do you look like as you're sort of doing this? You sort of standing on a hill overlooking them, extending a hand? Are you sort of sneaking up behind them and resting a hand on the golems?
Oh, do I have to touch them? That sounds
You
exciting.
don't have to, but if you want to.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah.
Sounds fun.
Probably easier, eh?
It'd certainly be easier if I misread do something good to me.
Well, exactly.
I am keen to start racking up damage if you've seen my character.
Yes.
I think I will have accompanied you with a small squad of soldiers.
Oh no! No, I'll
But,
take after you.
It's fine. More people to be crushed.
Exactly.
All right, Becky, give me a Wield roll.
Okay, well, I was just going to describe how I do it, actually.
Yeah, go for it.
Because my character wears a lot of grey, they look very ordinary, and I'm very kind of nondescript. And so my whole thing is that I don't stand there kind of putting my arms out and looking really impressive. I just kind of like saunter along, you know, trip over at the wrong moment and have to put my hands on one to steady myself, you know, that kind of thing. So really kind of nonchalant and really, don't look at me, I'm not really doing anything. And now I roll.
Nice. So you got +1 in this, so not bad.
Oh, I've forgotten how to do my brackets. Plus modifier. +1.
That's not good. That's not a good roll. Okay, so the good thing is that you have flipped their programming from protect to murder. That's very good.
See, I told you I could do it.
Actually, I think what it is that you you're sort of going along behind them, resting your hands on them, and you sort of push your mind into the crystal at the center of each of these golems that animates the rock and causes them to do particular functions. And you can feel like something break in there as you put your mind through, and then you feel pain in your hand as crystals just sort of shoot out of every sort of square inch of this creature, turning into sort of porcupine of needles. And yeah, I'll say, and then it turns around and just sort of smashes you in the chest, and you take 3 harm.
Yes, good.
So you can choose which harm boxes you mark off there. You can also cross off the armor tag of your breastplate if you want to get rid of one of those harm, but I don't think you do.
I don't think I do.
Yeah.
Am I the only person who does the harm thing, or is that everybody?
Everyone does this.
I think I want to take all of them, don't I? Take all 3.
Well, I mean, you're the only person who gets better when they take pain, so...
Yeah, that's what I was getting at.
Okay, I didn't know that. Yeah.
No, I get a +1 for each harm marked in the relevant row. So this will give me, if I take it, I'll get +3 might.
Shite.
Ooh. If you put it all in the might column, which, you know...
Oh, I suppose I could split it, couldn't I?
Yeah,
I'm going to take 3. Okay. You know, this is a one shot. Go big, go home, right?
Yeah.
So I'll take. I'll not take dead. That seems a bit.
Yeah. Best not to take dead.
Yeah.
No, I'll take dead. I'll take blinding pain.
Okay.
And I'll take torn. That sounds good. I'll leave my armor intact for now. Might need that later.
Yeah.
And then I'll also take anguished.
Okay.
Because I've put Actual in danger.
Yeah.
That's no good.
Yeah. So, Actual, you're standing there ready with your guards as Karenan walks forward, place their hands on the golems, and then horrible spikes. And there's a sort of like tearing noise as the golem just sort of rakes its palm across Actual's across Karenan's arm, and you can see sort of their clothing get torn up as the crystal spines rake along it. What do you do? All the golems are starting to do this thing of erupting into crystals and just sort of smashing about each other.
You'll hear a lot of swearing from me.
Yeah, sure. Does it look like they're actually sort of advancing towards either the people on the bridge or to us, or are they just going after Karenan?
All three. They seem to be going in sort of like indiscriminate murder mode sort of thing.
Okay, this sounds, just putting that out there, very much like a chaotic situation.
It is, yes.
So I would like to roll with wisdom, please, using my Courage to Conquer move.
Oh, interesting. Okay, roll it.
So I'm rolling with wisdom, which is just double check that I'm reading that right. Yeah, that's a +1.
Yep.
So...
That's a 5.
That's definitely a 5. Yeah. That's not what I was looking for.
Okay. Cool. I'll say that you're sort of standing there trying to sort of work out what the best solution is as your sort of soldiers look to you for orders. And while you're looking, someone in the crowd of refugees, they'd heard the Karenan's shout of pain and turned and looked and saw that, these golems had entered murder mode and were advancing towards you. And you're standing there nearby, sort of looking sort of serious and pensive. And someone points and shouts, "Oh my God, they're coming for us." And the whole... and they start running from the golems, and then people behind them start running, and then there's a sort of stampede running along the bridge away from the golems, and not everyone can move that fast. And
yeah, that's not great.
Yep, Sharent, you're just having a nice cup of tea with this old man in his tent as you sort of try and work out how to get back when you hear the screams, and you look out the tent and you can see this sort of mass of people panic stampeding along the bridge away from these. Well, you can just make out through the gaps and sort of fleeing people, the stalking forward golems. What do you do?
Right. Jay, in this game, is there that theme where you create a secondary character on the fly when?
I mean, it's not a mechanic at the moment, but we could probably do something if your character died midstream.
Okay, sure. I was just checking in case I could help with another character or something like that.
No,
sure.
You can send your minions off to do something if you wanted.
That sounds like a good idea at this point. You seem to be
okay.
I thought I was in trouble, but you seem very professional are searching for it yourselves.
So what do you do?
So this is kind of on the macro level. I think the third Legion kind of wasn't informed in advance of all of this. So they are taken a little bit aback, but they quickly take formation, ready their shield and swords, and start organizing a counter defense, a counter attack.
Okay. All right. So they're not with you,
No.
but so that's still fine. So your squad have the tags strong and vicious, which
Yes.
is, I think, both are relevant to this. If so, they would be intercepting the golems and stopping them from going closer towards the tavern and towards where all your houses are camped. Right? Because that's the side of the bridge they're on, or not? Accurate?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So that sounds like you're rolling +3 then. Because you've got 2 relevant tags and their undying loyalty.
Nice. Well, their loyalty is undying. We'll see about this if they are.
The people.
Yeah.
So that's +3.
2d6 +3.
That's a 12.
Excellent. Excellent.
They are all kinds of undying.
Yes. So, Karenin, as you're sort of staggering back in pain, there's a rush around you, and these sort of crimson-cloaked forms of the 3rd Legion's infantry sort of step on either side of you and then sort of slam down big, heavy metal shields and sort of weathering the assault of the golems on them. Through the sort of between the sort of this melee, the guards and the golems, you see the sort of stampede of refugees on the other side, and golems advancing towards them as well. What do you do? Karenin.
Oh, sorry, Karenin. Sorry, I thought it was somebody else. Oh, well, I have a family oath that I need to protect Actual, and now with my new spicy +2 might,
Ooh.
that's what I'll go and do.
Okay.
Since Actual's just like standing there having a jolly hard think about all of this.
They're a tactician.
Sorry?
They're a tactician.
Oh, yeah. But so let me have a little look at my hero actions. So look. I suppose it's assault, isn't it? When I use an appropriate weapon to battle my enemies.
Yep.
I mean, I'm in a mercenary company, so I must have weapons.
Well, it's on your sheet that you have a clockwork crossbow, apparently.
Sounds jolly good.
Yeah. That's ranged and piercing, which is going to be good for those golem stone armor.
Then let's do that then.
All right.
Right, so +2 might. Come on!
Yeah.
It's got to be worth the pain, right? This is what this character is for, is you do things to hurt yourself so you can power up.
Yep.
2 roll 2d6 +2. 10.
Yes. Excellent. Okay. So you can choose any 2 of those tactical objectives there.
Cool. Right. Well, I don't want to rout them because it sounds like they're already kind of out of control anyway. And I don't want to scavenge, learn, bond. I think I want to hurt and control them.
Okay, excellent. So that sounds good. You can with your incredibly potent arrow bolts hurled by this sort of clicketing contraption, you pierce right through the stone armor of the golems and smash the crystal within, sending them dropping lifeless to the floor. You focus first on the ones that are going after the refugees.
No, I don't.
No, you don't?
I focus first on the ones that are going after Actual because I have a family oath.
Yes,
I want to find the ones nearest to him. Her.
So when you say control their movement, what you mean is just don't let them near her.
No, I suppose what I meant was I've chosen 2 outcomes. So killing or hurting and controlling.
Yes.
So hurting the ones that are closest to Actual, I'm guessing.
Okay.
Because she's a single target,
Yeah,
and then if trying to control the ones that are going after the refugees. So it's kind of what you said, but
slightly different priorities. That sounds cool.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. I think you can do that. You can you can sort of grit your teeth through the pain, and it actually gives you focus, and you smash one golem, then another, and soon they're all just lying dead there. And, blood's pouring down your arm where that thing's spines tore into you, and, in some ways you don't really care. It's not bad. But I think that this might strain your bonds with someone a little. Actual, both in sort of the fact that, this chaotic, uncontrolled thing went against your plans, didn't give you time to plan so much. And also, the way that Krenan is fighting at the moment is not really something that you've... it shakes your understanding of them a bit. So what you need to do...
And also, I did notice that she did not prioritise the ones going for the refugees, which,
Yes.
I'm not happy with.
Yeah. All right. So what you need to do is roll plus your covenant rating with her. It doesn't matter who rolls.
Sure.
The rating is 1.
Is it, as I say, it's 1, yeah.
Yeah. Is Dave doing that?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, I'll do it.
Yeah,
sorry. Sorry. I realized I asked a question, but then didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. 9. Okay.
No.
Okay. So you remember a moment between you that puts things in perspective, calming the current crisis or heightening the importance of your ties. So where have you seen something like this before from Karenan, actual?
I think what it is that I didn't see it before, but there was a time when I was out on patrol, fighting off a group of bandits who'd been preying on the sort of the locals, and I'd sort of waded into battle as is my wont, and I'd sort of taken a couple of them down, and one came at me from sort of behind when I wasn't expecting it, but it got they got taken out by a crossbow bolt to the chest before they reached me, and I was never sure where that came from, and it's
there we go then. All right, so excellent. So at this point, the golems are done. There is not too much. The stampede sort of resolves itself quite quickly as the golems are taken down. There are some people with broken arms, cracked ribs from the stampede, some tents that were torn up, and belongings cast over the side of the bridge in the travel. But on the scale of things, not too bad. And in fact, seeing that the golems are done, people soon start trooping off the bridge and deep off towards the kingdom. And you can all reunite.
Yay!
And
excellent.
Recover a little.
Is there a good point to go for a break?
Yeah, I think that's a good point.
Cool.
So yeah, we are going to go for a break for 5 minutes, and we'll be back in just a moment. So see you just now.